Still, y'all Trap Top at 10 and Trap News Network. We back in the same, like good crack in the same. We here at 10 and Trap News Network. Good news you can use. Good knowledge, though. You ain't finna get nobody's college, though. Big dog, hit that like, hit that comment, hit that get subscribe button for everything we got going on here at 10 and Trap News Network. It's that news you can use. That knowledge, you ain't finna get nobody's college, big dog. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that get subscribe button. Everything we got going on here at 10 and Trap News Network. Make sure you tap in with the tap in. If you ain't tapped in with that good tap in. And I need y'all to slide over to richtraphouse.com. Get in everything we got going on here at richtraphouse.com. Tap in with that. If you ain't tapped in with that, hoodies, tees, long sleeves, short sleeves are all available now. So make sure you get into that. If you ain't got into that, and you can get caught up for the latest and the greatest what we got going on here at 10 and Trap News Network. Slide over to that if you ain't slid over to that. We finna tap in with DJ Akademiks calling Wack 100 the police. Let's get into this. Shout out to Hookah Anonymous.
Wack, you were discussing Brick Baby not going to court, and there was no work that existed at that time.
Fuck you and everybody else who want to try to make me a baby.
You would still be on either Clubhouse or anything else discussing people's current street situations, knowing that these niggas just got wrapped up and their words have been used against them?
The only thing we discuss is what's on the work.
All right, y'all. Now, I'm a little late on this, but I had to react to it because this right here is a different level of insane. I say that because I never thought I'd see the day where you have two guys that willingly tell you that they got no problem saying police stuff online, calling each other an informant. Well, I know Akademiks lets it be known that he has no problem because he's a civilian. However, Wack 100 likes to play both sides of the fence. One day he's saying incriminating things online about someone and or exposing paperwork or just inside information that no one usually knows. Now, how he gets that information, that's a total different story. But then on the other days, it's situations like this where he feels what he's doing isn't police work. Now, in this case, we have Wack 100 telling Akademiks he's doing police work by mentioning certain things and breaking down people's cases while on live. However, DJ Akademiks would clap back and say, well, basically, what do you call what you're doing with Big U? Right?
DJ Akademiks is calling out a spade. Akademiks is tied up with Wack lying.
Which is a hell of a point because that's the first thing I thought of when I seen it myself. So let's get into it. I want to know what you guys think about this at the end. Let me know who y'all think is right or wrong. But before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it.
And tell every grown man how many times to shake this and wipe it out of here.
No, because I'm trying to have a consensus.
I ain't telling no grown man.
I'm trying to have a consensus saying.
I'm not telling no grown man.
So you think these street niggas should continue?
I'm not telling no grown man. Do you not understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? You and everybody else who want to try to make me a babysitter.
No, Wack.
No, nobody's making you a babysitter. You just take it upon yourself to give out information that is only welcomed by law enforcement, and you just continue to do these things.
Wack.
I'm not telling the grown man.
No, Wack.
Hey, for y'all that don't know what's going on, right? He's basically referring to loose cannon. Everybody keeps saying how Wack is, he pretty much fueled the whole situation with Loose Cannon and Big U. If y'all remember, they was on No Jumper, and as Loose Cannon was saying what he was saying about Big U, Wack is like, well, tell him this. Well, tell him that. Well, also, don't forget to tell him this. And so the thing is, a lot of people are saying, well, damn, Wack, that was your boy. Right? You don't feel like no way. And Wack response is, well, I'm nobody's babysitter. Right? We're grown men. And I get it, but you did play a part because we did see him instigate it. See, that's what manipulators do. And I think that's what
that's what the manipulation is. Loose Cannon was manipulated and Wack instigated the entire situation. But in law enforcement eyes, they will make Wack a co-conspirator. That's what they call that in law enforcement. They don't call that an instigator. They call that a co-conspirator.
Loose Cannon did, but he don't even realize that he was being manipulated. Right?
Grown man.
Wack, let me tell you this. I remember when someone said, hey, listen, they used the video of yours in court. I started to look to say, hey, listen, I'm not trying to get and by the way, it's not like I have these guys on my platforms and they're saying it. I don't want to get nobody indicted or locked up if they said the way how Ack is doing this is how we're locking people up, I would change. So I'm only saying this.
Right, you see the way that everybody's getting locked up for the tactics being used, and yet you've not switched the tactics. But that's because Wack 100, like I've been saying, is doing this reporting, doing this check-in from YouTube.
To say all black, this is the first RICO case that they've ever mentioned podcast this much. I think podcasts should probably take note. You don't think so?
And then you got to keep in mind, they said 40% of that RICO has to deal with social media. And when they mentioned podcasters, they specifically mentioned the no jumper hole situation with Loose Cannon and Wack 100. Now, we've seen where Adam 22 said he had to give up whatever the cease and desist that he received from Big U, as well as other stuff that we may not know about. Right? But like Akademiks is saying, if they're saying they're using this in court to pretty much indict somebody, wouldn't you want to switch that up? Right? Not to mention, if they're using that same interview that you did with Loose Cannon, and you was there instigating the whole situation, then what does that say? It's not about being a babysitter.
We're different people.
And it's not even the fact of being there to be a babysitter. Number one, you're a co-conspirator. Number two, you're actually saying how you were involved in some of these things, like the no jumper fight and all that kind of stuff. So it's way past the point of you being a babysitter. You're actually a participant.
My homies wouldn't be in my backyard either. See how we different people? So you're different people, right? I'm telling you.
You brought up the fact that Wack Akademiks homies was sleeping with his girl in the backyard, and he's loosely alluding to Wack Akademiks' alleged rape case.
I don't.
See, he threw a low blow at Ack. Yo, let me tell you, I don't know what it is with Ack and Wack. Get it? Ack and Wack. And I don't know. But anyway, they got like this weird relationship, almost like Stephen A.
They're frenemies.
Smith and Skip Bayless in a sense. Or Shannon Sharp, whatever the case may be. But it seems like sometimes they go too far. At least Wack 100, like things like that. If y'all remember, this is a serious case with DJ Akademiks where he was alleged, it was alleged that he was involved in a grape situation. Right? We covered that as well. But as you can see, he brought that up. Right? Like, we're two different people. My friends wouldn't be having sex with my girl in my backyard. And see, that's a little too far. But, hey, I guess that's a relationship they have.
On upload. And I'm not telling a grown man I'm name.
But he did.
So wait, Wack. So you still, like, after watching all of this with his Big U RICO, you was still...
I'm not telling a grown man.
I'm not saying you telling them. I'm talking about your actions. You would still be on either Clubhouse or anything else discussing people current street situations, knowing that these just got wrapped up and their words have been used against them.
The only thing we discuss is what's on the work.
See, you know what's crazy? Every time somebody make a point against Wack and he get mad, he starts getting
name calling,
disrespectful. Right? Now, keep in mind, he said everything they discussed is in the paperwork, but it's not. Because if y'all remember, he's the one that released the audio of the mother and the sister, I believe, of the alleged victim that had DNA from Big U allegedly underneath his nails. He's the one that put that narrative out there, but now, for some reason, you know, he's kind of like retracting it. Like, oh, no, I didn't say that, or I don't know where it came from. It came from him. That narrative about the DNA being underneath the nails came from Wack 100 himself, and he went as far as having the mother and sister on audio, and he played it on Clubhouse. That wasn't in the paperwork.
And that's still not in the paperwork, and it's looking like you're a snitchiana.
At least not from what we seen.
It's on the work, we run it.
Wack, you were discussing Brick Baby not going to court, and there was no work that existed at that time.
Facts.
So you're discussing his current street situation.
So you're too eager of a snitch. You're privy to all this information because you're working with these people, and you're too eager to put it out.
Wait, say that again?
There was no paperwork that existed, but you were discussing.
That's why we discussed it. How you ain't got a court date and no bail information? Now,
hold on. Wait. But Wack, why is that online content?
No.
Why is that online content, though?
Because that's what we want it to be. Because you you talking about, you police?
See, this is this is what people do when they realize that their point is null and void,
They start projecting that shit on everything else outside of the original issue.
or that you got them in a conversation. They get very disrespectful to try to deflect from the point at hand. At the end of the day, he just contradicted himself. He said, we're only talking about things that's in the paperwork. Academics named something that wasn't in the paperwork, and he said, well, I wanted it to be content. Well, it wasn't out there at the time, but I wanted it to be. Who cares?
So why are you preview the paperwork that nobody else? Officer Wack?
Contradictive.
Why did you take off shooting, sit here like the DEA, still frame it, circle, break down who had on what color what, who had on.
What does Academics being a civilian talking about takeoff have anything to do with Wack 100, who claims to be a super banged out Paru being a rat?
What shoes?
I got to.
Shut your.
Hold on. Wait. Wack.
But you would never get an Academics like that in real life. You sat next to that nigga and he played with you in your face on no jumper, and now you over here acting like a buster. Look at you.
And the history
Hold on.
of podcasting.
Hold on.
You sat there on the open murder case.
Wait. Hold on. Wack.
Down the shirt, all that.
Wait.
Now it's up.
Hold
You
on.
with the 100 side of the trenches.
Hold on.
It's
Wack.
up with
You playing with the 100 side of the trenches. This nigga just banged a Facebook group on them. Why you don't bang Pacoima Paru Bloods? Why you banging a Facebook group?
Wack, here's the difference.
In the history of podcasting.
Wait, Wack.
Did you not?
Wait, Wack. Are you gonna let me say the difference?
Did you not?
Wack.
Did you not?
The difference is,
See,
I know
you see what Wack is doing? And it's crazy because I deal with people like this often too. They try to overtalk, right? And then you hear what he tried to do? He tried to muscle his own narrative in there. Did you not? First of all, we're not talking about that. Like, whatever you said I did, cool. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about what you just said. Now you're trying to deflect from the original point at hand, once again. But I think Ack actually admitted it.
I did it and I admit it.
Oh, there you
Everybody
go.
else is doing it and claim they're not.
Okay.
I know I did it. No. I said I'm solving this. I literally said I'm solving a murder alive. Everybody else is doing it
There you
and
go.
acting like they're keeping the street. Hold on. As long as everybody say what I did with the takeoff was police, I'm a civilian. What y'all are doing is police. We all doing police.
Damn, we all doing police-ish.
If we admit it, let's go. We all hold hands and do police.
Listen.
That's all I'm saying.
Explain something to you. If we got to work, or we know you working, we're going, listen, if I wasn't telling that you got caught and you working right now today, one thing everybody can't say is Wack didn't call it and this didn't lie. He lied right here on your platform, right?
See, but you see what he just did? If y'all pay attention to what just happened, he just created a diversion from the original point at hand,
That Academics just said, well, we all some police-ass ninjas.
and then went to something totally different and said, well, guess what? If I didn't did what I did, right, where he lied, nobody would know because he lied about it. But here's the thing, once again, are you either going to admit you did it, or are you just going to take credit for knowing something ahead of time? Either way, it's still kind of speaking on something that wasn't out there at the time. Now, this is what they're categorizing as police work. At the end of the day, is it police work? Totally up to them, or
Definitely police work, because Wack is self-proclaimed to be the super banged out Paru Blood, and Paru Bloods don't do that.
whoever else feel it is. But you can't say you're not doing it, but then you want to take credit for it at the end of the day. Well, no, I didn't do it, but you can't say that I didn't tell y'all ahead of time. He would have still been lying to y'all. It's you either I don't know, man.
Now,
Wack,
I had to
Wack,
go
I'm
around.
with you.
Hold on.
Wack, hold on.
Hold on.
The key point you're about to skip over, I said, and I'm admitting, that takeoff is police. I do police on here all the time. I solve crimes.
Yeah, we buy that, okay.
Hold on.
So
As
nigga,
long
what
as
I'm
you
telling
say
you is-
that the 100
what
side
I'm
does it
telling
too.
you is-
We all do police.
As long as you say that the 100 side does it too, we all do police-ish.
Will continue to read and run paperwork. I don't give a what it's about.
Okay. So, and by the way, everybody knows you with Ack is liable to do some police. Will you say the same or no?
Would you mean? Like, nigga, I'm just correcting you because you talking about what we do. We don't do what you do. That was a wide.
Wack, you know this case more than me. You mentioned the allegation of a murder before we ever seen a work. We never seen a work.
And at least 5 of our rooms on the Hunter side. I got a
You giving up all this police information that wasn't made public until you made it public, officer.
guy named Prince that if I brought him in here right
Now you snitching on Prince.
now, he can recite the whole to you. You know why? We have rooms on the Hunter side called Murder Mystery, but we didn't ran through the whole
He keeps
indictment.
going past
We
the
got
point.
the
See what I'm saying?
But we didn't ran through the whole indictment.
Akademiks' point is this, simple and plain, but he keeps trying to jump over it. It's, listen, I know what I do over here is police. I'm admitting it. What y'all is doing, y'all are doing
One cop, two cop, red cop, blue cop.
police work, but y'all not admitting it. Y'all trying to dress it up. But y'all are doing police work, but you don't want to admit it. Just admit that y'all doing police work too. Wack said no. He's trying to create diversions.
The only thing I would say is that with the takeoff thing, I got the murder
You didn't
suspect.
read no indictment.
No.
You went over video footage.
Wack, you didn't read no indictment. You basically went to talk to the victim or the victim's mom. So
Yeah.
we did the both same thing, except you were right. I was wrong.
Hey, bro.
Damn. Sheesh.
Talking to 2 people that was giving us, we know they're giving us wrong information. We didn't give a. You look, do you know what?
See, once again, first of all, see, and this is what, let me tell y'all, I'm not going to tell y'all who to pay attention to, who to subscribe, and none of that. But a lot of these guys that be out here creating the quote-unquote content, this is what they do. As he about to say, listen, everybody's lying to us, you know they lying, this is what we do, and no, this is not what we do. And this is why real journalism, or sometimes investigative journal, whatever you want to call it, right? It gets lost because at the end of the day, you have people just saying or doing anything all for the sake of content. But to be honest with you, I think it's more to what it is with Wack because he's been on like this campaign where he's saying everything he was saying about Big U was wrong and this. He did a DJ Vlad interview where he kind of retracted everything he said. I don't know, it's kind of suspicious, but he went from, yeah, Big U did this and yeah, Big U did that, to suddenly now it's no.
So now you don't know anything, and now you don't know nothing. I'm taking Big U down, and he's a cop. He had the BlackBerry phone and all that, and now all that content is suddenly being taken down because, like I've been telling y'all, that no jumper RICO is coming up, and Wack, or let's call it the no jumper indictment, is coming up, and Wack 100 is going to be involved.
No, he didn't. I don't know where the narratives came from. No, I wish him the best. Where did this come from? And how do, you know what's funny? How do Loose Cannon feel now? Because now when you pay attention, right? You got Wack 100. He was with Loose Cannon, agitating him, instigating him to talk about Big U. That's one of the reasons why Loose Cannon is in the situation he's in now. At first, they tried to make it seem like it wasn't. But clearly, when Adam said, well, they wanted to cease and desist, that had something to do with Loose Cannon because he spoke on Big U, right? So how would Loose Cannon feel knowing that he was pretty much nah, that's not the word. Pretty much hyped up by Wack 100 to talk about the situation with Big U, and he's in there, and now Wack is out here saying, well, no.
That's the reason why Loose Cannon is probably more than likely going to expose what I've been saying. Loose Cannon is going to expose the information proving that Wack 100 set up the no jumper fight.
No, you know, Big U's a good guy, and I don't get it.
With that, do you know what that character was designed to do?
What?
The same shit what Big U did to me, antagonized the fuck out of me. He got me back on this turn in. Nigga, he say shit,
Wow.
they ask me questions.
He did make it hot for you. He was trying to make it hot for you. He was trying to go crazy on you.
Okay, but guess what? Looking at what he said and looking at the indictment, can you say, Big U, you said...
Now you making it seem like you and Big U been joking back and forth. Nigga, he's in the federal penitentiary. It ain't nothing joking about that.
It's bullshit on Wack because that you said is supported by the indictment paperwork, right? But he shot his shot, so I gotta answer questions. So what we did, when we hear these ladies telling us wrong murder dates, wrong murder years, and this gonna happen, and you asking us for money after the fact.
Wack, here's the difference.
Trolling.
I
Hold
give
on.
I give you the big difference.
This is trolling. We press play, and guess what? We sat back and we wanted to watch him get questioned, and people tap people on the shoulder. His homies call us. You think they don't call us and say, yeah, we was at the park today and they asked Cuz about that. What'd he say? And he got mad and stormed off. That's all we want to hear.
Wack.
So basically, they're all playing. All right, so
Niggas is playing. Niggas is playing police, and they think that issue's cute. Grown ass gangbangers playing police, barnacles.
basically it. But as you can see, I don't know how credible. Well, we already knew that. You take whatever Wack says with a grain of salt. But now that he's basically admitting, well, you know, everything we say, don't believe because we just run content. We're trolling. We're just trolling to get questions asked so y'all can get mad about the questions and they play. See, that's the social media games they playing. That's the social media game.
Y'all know the deal though. Red dots to the left. Y'all know the rest. Show love to Hookah Anonymous. We up out here to the next one. No free Avenue Angel. So he's free. We are gone.